Let's get start demo first. So this is same series of generic repository with unit of work and with web API .NET 8, and here I just implement one more endpoint which is actually generic model validator. So let's see how it's working. So let's try out. Now this is a one model, so that can be a very complex model as well. So as of now I already create many object inside the another object, and then if I not pass any value, suppose for example pass is null or email fields or whatever fields, if you want whatever models, if you just skip that and just generate it, you will get one response. Okay, whatever the response you are sending, request sending, so you can get that same response as well with this validator like this. For example, let me zoom in for you. Okay, so this says, see, if I not pass age, so it will tell us, okay, age does not have as a value, as well as if I not pass any name inside this nested model, so also they will keep in same model and it will return also. It's everything, it will be generated generic way. So that will implement in this session. So let's get start. So before implementation start, I'm especially recommend, please go to my channel, and here you will get this series of generic repository with unit of work and generic repository and multiple DB with unit of work. So many things that we have covered in this session. So okay, also you can take this example whatever we have covered in this repository web API, and also I push all the changes. Some subscriber are complaining, okay, not, you are not pushing the changes. So but now it's available, you can take it. So let's just start. Open my web application, same web application. What I need to do first, I need to create one generic validator method. So how we can do that? It's very simple. First of all, you need to just create a one class. So let me create a new class. Let's call it to model validator. Model validator, add. Now this is should be a static class, and static, and along with what I need to do, I need to create a one method which will make a generic. So whatever model you just pass, suppose you pass a product model, you want to pass a order model, right? So that should not specific this method, so that should be a generic, so that any model we can pass, so it can be used and give us that result. So how we can do that? It's very simple. What I need to do, just change it to this. Okay, not here, let me create one method. Class is fine. Now I need to create a one method. So public static, and then what I need to do, I just need to create a dictionary, so that whatever that model returning, so I can use return as a key value pairs. So I'll use a dictionary, and whatever key, this is a key, this is object, and then finally you can just create this method. Okay, so this method is fine, but it should be generic. So how we can identify that it's generic? So you can just specify the T, and also you can just pass it to here, make it generic model as well, and that's fine. Also keep it model, and what what other things we have to do over here actually. So I'll keep it here, like other two parameter also I need to do expect in this method. What are those? That is actually suppose I need to validate one method, one model, right? So in this model, suppose I don't want to validate some of the properties, so that also I want to skip. So that skip parameter I need to handle over here, so that user, if it is pass whatever the skip property, so I can skip as well. So that should not validate in this method. That is one. Another one I will do that, like suppose one of the parameter, one of the field I want to validate as like email validations, right? So all the validation, it will tell us, okay, if it has a value, so that it's a value, so it will not validate, but it does not have a value, so it will tell us, okay, this property does not have a value. But if I want to additional validations, like I want to formatting something like one of the email field, that should we have proper email validations, right? So that also I can tell us for the user, they can send it, okay, this property I want to validate as a email validation. So those I can pass it over here as a parameter. Okay, let me here skip that. Okay, now see this two parameter, just hard coded value we will pass from that UI. But yeah, in upcoming session again we'll do this also, should be a generic, so that whatever model, so I just use that model and their property that I can change it to here by using the expression. So that do in a later. But yeah, for the understanding perspective, I just cover to now whatever model we are get with the skip property and email properties, I will validate over here. Now let me start the implementation. So first implementation, it's very simple. First I will check whatever this model, if does not have a value, which it is a null, so simply I return back to, okay, this model does not have any value. Okay, so that is one. Now second, whatever I just pass over here, this property that I need to handle, if it is null, so I can set it a default string of array of a string. Either if you not handle this, definitely you will get that error. Okay, so that is fine. Now finally what I need to do, I need to run another method which can be recursive. Okay, because see, whatever model you just pass, if it is a no, top level, that is fine, but inside of nested object inside this model, so definitely we have to call some recursive method. So while using that recursive method, I need to separate this method to another method, so that whatever it nested object again call the same method, and store that whatever key and value inside the dictionary. So what I will do, let me create another method. It's very simple method. uh, let me create that method, let me skip down. Okay, so see, this is again, it's very simple. I just create again validate object, and this time I will pass that object. Okay, and this object and now also will pass that current path over here, what are the current path, and skip parameter and email properties. Okay, so others two is fine, also model is fine, but yeah, I add this more additional property in this method so that I can keep the track. Okay, what is that root path actually, so that I can track it over here using this current path. Don't worry, I'll just explain one by one and implement. So first I need to do, in this method implementation, first I will just create a get type, whatever object I have I just need to get using that assembly reflection. So I store as a type, and then I will create a dictionary to store all the errors. So I just create a simple as a dictionary object and initialize that dictionary, and then what I need to do, okay, so now whatever object I have, okay, this object, so that I need to iterate one by one. So I need a for each loop. So let me create a one loop. So this is another loop. Don't worry about that, this will handle, like if, for example, this 2 I need to end of this. Let me fix that error first. Okay, so now this is for each loop, and inside this for each loop, what I will do, whatever type we have get, so that I will get all the properties and iterate all the properties one by one. So what would be the first things? First I need to get that property name. So I will get that first property name. It's very simple. Whatever the current path I am getting, so that is the current path plus whatever that property name, I can get the property name, and then finally I will trim with this dot. Okay, so then how we can I can get this property name. So this is one. Then again what I need to do, I need to get value as well. So this I get the property name as well as I need to get a value. So how we can do that? This is very simple. Property dot get value, pass it that whatever object. So I will pass the object, so I will get that value. This is done. Then what I will do, I will just need to check if any property, suppose I get that value, so I can check like, okay, if it is any value over there, so I can return as a error, add a error with this name, whatever property name, along with this error, like it does not have a value. So I need to put one condition over here. So this is that one condition. I'm not writing a code because it will take more time, but no, don't worry about that. Everything I will explain. So let me, okay, so now see what I am doing. Let me space over here. Okay, simply whatever is skip property, so if I want to skip, so that also I need to put a one condition. So if I skip, so that time it will not handle. Okay, and then if that value, whatever property value, if it is null, and if it is a string, empty string or whatever things, everything actually we handle. If it is null, empty string, everything, if it is there, so what I am trying to do, simply whatever create a object of dictionary. So that object I can I add on this object as a name key. This is a key, whatever property name, along with that generic error, like does not have any value of this property. So that's why that's way actually we can handle. So this is one. Now another condition would be over here. For example, suppose this property, I want to handle not only just empty string, but yeah, I want to handle with this that email validations, right? So then what I need to do, I need to create one more condition over here. Else if it is null, okay, that is fine, it will cover. If it is not null, if same other property which is I can cover is the email validation, so that again email property, it should be null and contain, if it is match whatever email property, then simply, okay, let me down over here so that you can see properly. So yeah, email property is content. Yes, if it is content, then I need to pass one method that I will create. As of now, it is not there, but I will create. Just simply I just pass a value, and that value can tell us, okay, it is true or false. If it is false, then simply I need to add, okay, that property is not a valid email format. So this is way actually we can handle as a email validation as well in this generic method. So let's start, or let's implement this email validation first, because neither it will give some compilation error. So let me create that method outside this method. Okay, so this is the end, and then after that I'll just create a simple is validate method. I just pass a value, and this value just simply use that regression email validation, and here it will validate. If it is match, then it will true, or if it is not match, it will false. So that's how I can validate over here. So this is done. Then if see the property, if it is match this way, so I can add over here. If it is property match this way, so I can add over here. Now what is the third condition? Now it's my third condition would be, if suppose it is a simple top level object, so it will handle. But think about, like, if we have a nested object, so then it will not handle over here, right? So then how we can do that? Then I come in this picture, actually recursive method. So that recursive method I need to create over here. So how we can do that? It's very simple. Again, I need to create another else if, and here, okay, let me bring that namespace using that collections. So here, see, if it is the value is a string, or it is a enumerable, means it is collection, right? So this value, if it is a collection, then again what they will do, they will create some sub errors over here as a list object, and then I put down some logic and again iterate that for each loop and then call again. See, this are recursive method where we calling over here. So again this method itself this calling this method and pass it whatever property. So this property they will pass, property name I will pass, and then also skip properties and that email properties. So again it will send and will check, okay, if it is error or near it have a error or not. If it is error, so definitely they will add again this error over here, and if it is not, then again just they will skip, right? So this is way, actually this is a way actually we can use that nested object as well in this method. So if that have a nested object, so they will automatically call that recursive method and they will store that error. So now what I need to do next, now I put one more condition over here, that is called another condition. So let me show you. Okay, so this is like, again I'll check if it is value not null and get the value type, or if it is a class type. Okay, so if it is a class type, again this value has a class type, right? So then again what we'll do, again it will call this another same method, like for example recursive method. So they will call the recursive method, again it will found error, they will add over here. So this is a little bit implementation. This, that's how actually we can implement that method, actually generic method. So whatever your model you pass based on this your email properties and skip the properties, it will handle and it will create and store the error and key value details inside this dictionary. And finally what I need to do, I just return whatever errors we have, just return over here. So let me return. So this is return, this is the last method. Okay, so I need to return here. So once I return, this should be gone, so this error is gone. And finally I need to call this method from in our main method. This is our main method is validate, and here I just passed and return that object. So how we can do that, it's very simple, return, and then whatever model you just have, just pass it over here. And starting you just pass it to empty path, this is a path actually. So you have to pass the empty path, and whatever that value of the skip properties and email properties, you can just pass it. So that is done for implementation of that generic validation method. Now how we can call it this method and how we can use it in our controller, so that part it's pending. So let's go with the controller. So go the controller, and here I will just create another controller which is a new for this here generic model controller. So let me create a new controller, controller API controller add, and just name it to generic model validator controller add over here. And now finally what I need to do, I just create a endpoint over here which we can validate over here. So simply I can call as a http post endpoint, and then I can create a validate. But yeah, just a demonstrating processing, I'm using that as a endpoint. But yeah, you can use in your logic, because this validation logic should be inside your business logic. So but yeah, you can just use it over here for the demonstration perspective. So finally I need to create one model over here that we can validate. So let me create that model as well. So it should be a complex model. So let me create that model name inside this model folder. Where is our model? Okay, so this is a view model. So let me create a class over here and create a my model. And inside this model what I will do, I just create a some property along with this nested object. So let me create this. So I just create this model. We have a three top level property, and then inside again we have a nested object, nested class object, and inside this class also we have a nested class object. So that's how actually we can, n number of class of nested object we can easily find, okay, which one is empty or which one is a validation error. So everything we can handle with this using this generic validator. So let me create this class as well. So open again, go to this here model view, here just go to add class. Let me create a class, and again just copy the code from here and create it over here. Again this class, again the nested object, we have another property, and then inside this nested object again we have another nested object. So let me create this one also, so that while implementation you don't confuse, okay, like on how we can handle that nested object to inside again nested objects. So that is very important. So class, let me create, and here I just pass it to as a single property. So this is the way I just created the model. Now go back to your my model. Now I need to create this model as well. So let me create this one. It would be a simple class which does not have any nested object. So copy this, create this, and simply I just pass this, some property. So this is done. Our model is ready. Go to your my model. So model is ready. Now copy this model, go back to your controller and just pass it to over here. Bring the namespace, you will get this model. Now what I need to do, I can just how we can call it. So this is very simple. I can call it simply just store as a variable, for example errors, and then whatever our model class, I just create a static class, right? So that class I need to call over here model validator. So this is that class, this one. Okay, so see this predefined class already is a entity framework, but yeah, which one I just created, this that one I have to use. So this is that one, web API common. So this one dot validate, and inside this I can just see there's a 3 parameter, but that other two is optional. So you can use both way, like if you don't pass any skip parameter, or you don't pass any email validation, so you can just pass it to your uh, simple model. But if you want to those parameter, then you have to pass. So I'll show you both way. So first I don't pass anything and just get this, and finally I just get it the data and return back to over here simple the error dot counts, because it is a dictionary, right? So see, it's a dictionary. So the dictionary always give the counts if they have as a multiple values, key value pairs we have, so I can get the values. So if it is that, then I just pass it to whatever dictionary in this build request, or neither it is I will tell this, okay, this is a valid format, right? So let me run and see how is it working. Okay, there is some error, so might be somewhere I'm missing something. So one two, okay, the one curly bracket is missing. Now run again. Okay, let's me run. Okay, now it's running my application. Now see, this is that endpoint, and let me execute that, try out. Now see, it is by default is this. Suppose for example I just remove everything and let me execute. It will tells, okay, see, the name is name does not have a value. Let me zoom in for you. See, it will tells that you know top level property, they does not have a value, so it's complaining, okay, does not have a value for this, as well as whatever object, say if does not have a value, also it will complaining, okay, does not have value, right? So this is the way you can just validate, as well as see, if I get back that model, and if you just remove for example inside this price, right? So I just remove that price. Also inside another model I just remove this one. Also I remove this here, and one more property remove over here. So let me execute. Once you execute, see whatever property I just remove, so it is giving this error. Okay, see email does not have a value. Also this nested object we have, that nested object we have a email property does not have any value. Even the another model we have that does not also has a value, and same way is another nested object does not have a value. So in this way actually very easily we can uh, get it right. And for example, if something, for example, that property, right? So suppose example this email property, if I pass some value, for example Karthik, but it is not proper email formatting, right? So once I execute, it will tell us, it will not complaining any issue, because see this is another email, this is the one email, but inside this object we have another email. So it is not complaining, but that also we can handle in this method, uh, that passing the property. So how we can do that? Go back again to your here. Now you have to just pass to that skip properties, right? So how we can do that? It's very simple. Again, let's call that skip properties, and the skip property you can just pass to, let me bring over here, new, and array, it is an array property, so you can just pass it to email, right? So let me call it to email. And also you can specify the path, like see this is a root path, so I just pass it over here. But yeah, if I want to use, go back over here, this is a root path, so I just pass it to where. But yeah, I have some email value property I need to inside this nested object. So what I can do, I just copy this name along with this email property. So go back here, I'll just pass two property over here. For example, the another one is inside this object and that email. And just make sure I haven't checked this case sensitive or not, but yeah, just make sure it's case sensitive. Okay, so now skip property, I just pass it to skip property. And okay, this will be skip the property, right? So okay, let me show you like how is the working that skip property. So let me save, go back. So let me refresh. If it is not stop, it will work or not, I don't know. Let me check. Let me try and skip that this one, and inside this I just skip it. So execute. Email does not have value, so I guess it another email we have. Yeah, we don't have email, so yeah, it is not working because I need to restart actually application, I guess. So let me run again, and now check again how many email. Just check first. This is one email, this is another email, and only two email, right? So let me remove this two email from here, this one and this here as well, and let me execute. Now this time see model is validated because I just skip those property, that's why it's not actually validate. If it is null, but it is, I just forcefully tells our method I need to skip those property, right? So that's why. Okay, this is the one way skip property. Now I will show you that another property, right? I need to validate as well. So just remove or just change something over here. Let me change it to name, because I want to skip the name property, but I want to validate email one with this correct formatting, right? So what I will do, I'll just use comma, another one is email properties, and here new, pass it to whatever your email, right? So let me call the first one email and save it, stop it. Might be hot reload is not working, so let me run again. Now validate, try execute. And now this time email, see, email have a value with this, not proper format. So once I execute, it should be given this error like email is proper not working. So let me, yeah, now see, email email is not a valid format, right? So that is expected, right? If I pass some properties a email formatting, so that will considered as an email validator. Inside, suppose, see, this one is not actually, this one is not validate, right? Because this is also is not a valid email. But somehow actually I am not passing that, no, that nested property. That's why it's not validating. So let me add this one also. So how we can do that? It's very simple. Again, if you go to here, what is that nested property object? This one, go to here. So this one, go back to here and pass it to this dot email. Save it and stop and run. Now it's running. Now this time expectation is this two property should be email validations error. So let me execute. Now see, this two property getting this error with this email format is not correct, right? So let me pass the valid email address so that I can check like it is working or not. Okay, so Karthik dot Kumar @gmail.com, and let me Karthik dot Kumar @gmail.com, and let me try execute. So one is succeed, the another one is not working. Something is wrong. Karthik @gmail. Okay, I wrongly paste some other place. Okay, so this is not a name. Actually, this is a name field. I need to pass over here. So but yeah, this is the nice way to test also. Like, okay, if it is not validate, one is validate, that is fine, but another way is not correct, so also it's returning, right? So that is fine. Execute. Now it, this time it should be valid model, right? So that is how actually we can implement easily to your generic validation method, right? So if you go to again, it's very simple. I'll share this code in my GitHub. So it is very simple. See, now you can use another additional logic if you want, so you can put over here, but yeah, it is a generic validation method. So till now, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like and share.